Hi, I'm Caleb from Church Electronic, and today we're doing an interview with Ayegy. Hi.
Hello. It's a beautiful day. I couldn't ask for anything more. It's amazing. Great day.
How does a great day make you feel?
Makes me feel motivated. Feels like clouds are lifted. New sense of urgency and perspective on life.
Do you find urgency liberating?
Yes, because I'm actually very lazy and I struggle to do the things I want to do. So I try to take advantage of things like a nice day, um, to give that little extra energy.
You have a pretty vast discography. A lot of your music is pretty energetic. It seems like you're influenced by nature. Is there something about these days or these environments that help you produce your best work, or are there certain circumstances that you like to be in a creative zone?
The circumstances where I make the best art is very unpredictable. Usually, it's when I'm in a really um, dark place. Like the past few months, I've been really itching to get some nature time and feeling very overwhelmed by the city. And I think those are the times where I kind of lean on my creativity more, try to kind of put myself in other places, um, like imagining I'm in another place when I'm making a song. It kind of helps as an escape from intense city life.
So it sounds like you're maybe transported by your creative process. Are there places that you like to return to often? I know you're from the Pacific Northwest, and you've mentioned the differences that city life have brought to your overall mood and creative work. Do you think back to where you came from? Do you miss certain things about it? And is that part of your music as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Um, Moving into a city has made me realize the importance that my environment does have on me, because in the Northwest, you kind of take it for granted. Um, the beauty and the nature you're around because it's easily accessible. So I didn't really realize how much it was a part of me until I moved away. That's why I feel like being in a city has influenced my music and made it go more folky and more acoustic, um, because I'm thinking about that stuff more now that I'm kind of outside of it. There's specific places I definitely think back to. Um, in this town called Battleground, Washington, there's like this huge green field. It looks like a Microsoft wallpaper, um, just full of green grass and flowers. And it's also a dog park, so there's dogs running around everywhere, and that's kind of the one of the happy places I'll think back to and kind of try to put myself in, to make a good song. But it really varies. Like my recent track, In and Not of It. For the video, I purposely wanted it to be very gloomy and very industrial and dark. Like a lot of the scenes I filmed in like a super dingy alley, with, like a ton of trash, um, because I felt like that more accurately portrayed the place I was in while making that song. Feeling in the world, but not really of the world, um, versus the the easy way, which would be, go out in nature, film a super folky music video. I kind of wanted to um, go the opposite way. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And I can definitely see the more acoustic, folky influence you mentioned, especially with your most recent track. Um, and it's a really cool contrast you achieved by having the track be more acoustic and drawing from those happy places that you'd like to return to, while making the video a lot darker and more representative of your current circumstances and mindset. Are there things you like to do with your music video or other aspects of your visual worlds that either complement or contrast your music?
With the recent video, I tried to make a video that some of the scenes were very intentional, like with the cemetery scenes, you know. But I was really trying to make a video that didn't necessarily complement the song, like visually, but like the deeper meanings are there, and there's kind of a story that's crafted. Sometimes I want to make a video that perfectly fits with the song, and other times I want it to be completely different. It just really depends on the song or the album. Um, so it's definitely something that's really important, though, and I do put a lot of effort into thinking about the direction for my art and my videos, because I think that that's something that's a bit lost right now, and it seems like a lot of artists don't have a lot of involvement in their own videos or own art anymore. They have like production teams, and they have labels like kind of manufacturing everything, and every video, every piece of art, every cover art, it's all been made by me. That's just to say that it's important to me, and I really value the world building of music.
Yeah, that's amazing. And you have a bit of range in your music, your visual styles, everything that you put out there. And despite that, it all feels quite personal and quite like handcrafted. And I'm wondering if part of that is the wide range of influences that you draw from in your creative work. I know you were surrounded by like the DIY scene growing up. Being from the Pacific Northwest, you're listening to black metal, a bunch of different genres that are really big in that area. And now being based in New York and also just being on the internet as someone in the 21st century, like it seems like you're drawing from a lot and kind of synthesizing it into your own original vision. Is there something about those influences that help you in creating your work and that you see represented in your own creative process?
Yeah, it might be a bit uh, um, hard to go into specific influences because there are honestly so many for me. Um, but the things I have consumed um, growing up and from the internet and stuff has really influenced my mindset when it comes to creating. Like, I have very unconventional ways of doing things when I'm like producing. Um, like I might have I might be like tracking guitar or something for a song, and um, accidentally leave like the monitoring on, so it'll be like playing in the background, and it'll sound cool, and I'll just hit record,
Yeah.
and then like I'll like chop that up or something, um, and just like the wide range of influences has given me like a unique approach to making things, and like a very do-it-yourself approach, because my tools are very limited and they've always been very limited, and I've never had any hardware. It's always just been me and GarageBand. So I think that also has had a big effect in how I do things. Being limited has actually really enhanced my music, I feel like.
That's amazing, and I feel like that kind of speaks to the DIY like ethos, where you're working within limited means and creating something really personal. So a big part of your music is your personal spirituality. I was wondering if you could speak about what your journey and relationship with that has been like, and what draws you to exploring that side of the world and humanity, and why you want to represent it in music.
Yeah. It's never really been a choice for me. Um, it's a really long, if I went through like my whole journey and everything, it'd be like a pretty long-winded story. But I can say that I've always felt like um, there was something greater, and once you have that realization, you can't really go back. Um, and I kind of feel like I have no choice but to express that in my music, because it's like part of who I am. That has progressed in so many ways, from different religion, different things I've studied. I've noticed like certain patterns and uh, like repeating numbers and that sort of thing, as I'm sure a lot of people can relate to. That's been happening to me for a long time, since I was like 15. I was into like new age spirituality for a while, and that kind of progressed into like Norse like paganism, which is what you can see in my like older stuff, like with Godadelic. Where I'm at now, I'm fully Jesus is calling me back. There's I've just been on a hook, getting pulled in for a few years now, and just looking in the wrong places, and um, I feel like I'm finally at home with Christianity. Believe it or not, almost all my songs are secretly uh, about Jesus. Yeah, that's kind of long story short. I had a lot of divine encounters with people, um, multiple people who would just approach me randomly and be like, um, God told me to pray for you. It's also just been a feeling in my heart, like um, wanting to come back to it, uh, because I did grow up like loosely Christian, so I had that seed planted, and now I'm exploring like in my music the more mystical and more dark and intense themes of Christianity, just trying to show people that like uh, you can be cool and make cool music and love Jesus.
Shout out Jesus.
It is influencing my lyrics, and I've gotten a way more positive, way more optimistic. Yeah, it's a completely changed my approach and what I want to talk about in my music. Um, our time here is so short. You have to make things that are good and that inspire, and things that have weight to them. There's a lot of things um, being created and things going around that they don't last very long because they don't have any weight. There's no like meat. There's no like spiritual value or anything that people can hold on to. I'm just trying my best to make things that I think like are more than that people can see as more than just like a fun dance track.
And I think that perspective where you're really honing in on meaning as well as like your personal relationship to spirituality for me is reminiscent of certain branches of paganism and certain like nature-based forms of spirituality, which you mentioned you're exploring in Godadelic. In your more recent album, Blackthorn, there are a number of similar themes, but there's also been a clear progression. I was wondering if you could speak on what that progression was and if there were any big changes that brought up.
Do you mean like musically or like personally?
I think both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of a direct reflection of my personal life and coming back to Christianity. I was kind of using Christian imagery and topics in Godadelic, the 2022 album, kind of like ironically. And like I've always had a draw towards certain theology and like the cross and like certain imagery, but I always told myself it's like ironic. That progressed into that veil kind of being lifted and taking it more seriously by the grace of God, not anything I've done. Like exploring certain themes in a more sincere way, still maintaining like the kind of naturistic aesthetics, which I'm still very much into, but trying to combine that with my new journey with Christianity, because these things aren't super different. I was obsessed with nature worship and giving thanks to these things that that are here on earth, and that just progressed into worshiping the creator of the things that are on earth, because that's the one who should be getting the glory. And so yeah, they're not separate from each other. It's just kind of my recent album is kind of just the completion of where I've been at personally.
Speaking of your most recent album, Blackthorn, you had a release show for it last November. You had a really exciting lineup of artists, including Cleo Walks Through Glass, Patch Plus, and Boys in Blush, among others. I was wondering if you could speak about how you selected artists for that show and if you have any connections to them personally, musically, or thematically.
Yeah, I'm really, really grateful for that night. It was an amazing show. I know all of the artists, and that's how it came together. I also had a vision for that lineup musically as well, because I feel like what we all have in common is everyone has like kind of the same mindset when it comes to making music. Everyone on that lineup is very talented and very do-it-yourself, real deal people that really love music just for the music. Yeah, that night was really magical thanks to all of their performances. Shout out Patch Plus, Cleo Walks Through Glass, and Boys in Blush. They're my favorite artists in New York. Yeah, couldn't have done that without them.
Thanks so much for interviewing with us today. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we end off?
Shout out Church Electronic. Shout out my mom. Shout out my whole family. Shout out to pigeons and squirrels, and other various park animals. Yeah, thank you.